You're the Goblin King.
I don't know about you, but when I saw Jim Henson's Labyrinth, I absolutely loved it. In fact, I'll let you in on a secret. I happen to be someone who enormously relished the film's beautiful transition from a failure at the box office to its cult classic status. So, no wonder, even 40 years later, I'm still not okay with the fact that the Labyrinth received so much flack upon its release. So, if any of you want me to do a video on what originally went wrong with the 1986 musical fantasy movie, just let me know in the comments section right away. Trust me when I say this, I'll be more than happy to take it up. Now, as an ardent fan of the original flick, I have to admit that I've always wanted to go back to its dreamlike, enchanted world. So naturally, when I first heard that a rather distinguished screenwriter had been hired to write the script for the sequel, my happiness knew no bounds. Well, I think it's safe to say that the project has been quietly evolving over the years, and while that particular prominent screenwriter isn't currently attached to the Labyrinth sequel, I do have quite the news for you. Labyrinth 2 is in active development at TriStar Pictures, and here's everything I know so far about the sequel to the iconic film. Are you ready? Allow me to play Hoggle and guide you through. Nearly a decade after this legacy sequel was first announced, the latest news confirms that Robert Eggers will be directing and co-writing a follow-up to Labyrinth, along with Sion. I really wish I could say that things have been smooth for this highly anticipated sequel, but truth be told, the path to the Labyrinth sequel so far has been anything but smooth. In fact, I wouldn't be wrong at all to state that this project has seen its worst days. Embroiled in stalled script attempts and multiple creative team changes for the longest time delay I add here, before finally gaining a new momentum in early 2025. So yes, I believe it's very important that I take you through Labyrinth 2's exceedingly chaotic development cycle first, before I get into the part that has Eggers and his creative partner Sion taking over the reins. Also, there isn't an official title for the sequel yet, so I'm going to stick to Labyrinth 2 for the video to avoid any confusion. Now, most Labyrinth devotees should be aware of Nicole Pearlman's attachment with the sequel at one point in time, so here's to everyone watching my video from the beginning. Remember I discreetly mentioned a certain screenwriter involved with the sequel, one whose involvement with the project made me very, very happy? Well, I was specifically talking about Pearlman, and believe me when I say that I was absolutely thrilled at the fact that she was hired to write the sequel. I had seen Pearlman's work with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, and I was a big fan. But call it a stroke of bad luck that a public controversy also around the same time as her announcement ceased her involvement with Labyrinth 2. Apparently, Pearlman was misunderstood as working on a remake or reboot of the original film, which displeased numerous fans who thought she was trying to profit from David Bowie's death. Call it a classic case of awful timing, major misunderstanding, and controversy that made her eventually step down from the sequel, despite her clarifying on Twitter that she was in talks with the Jim Henson Company way before 2014 for a sequel, and not any reboot of any sort. Moving on, in April of 2017, Fede Alvarez was hired as the director and co-writer alongside Jay Basu. Jim Henson's daughter Lisa Henson was going to serve as the producer, and sometime in October next year, Alvarez stated that he had the script ready. Now, if I have to be honest here, I was actually looking forward to it, and even more so because I came across one of Alvarez's interviews, where he publicly acknowledged Labyrinth as one of the movies from his childhood that made him fall in love with filmmaking. According to an interview with Sci-Fi in 2020, Alvarez said, "I couldn't be more thrilled to expand on Jim Henson's mesmerizing universe, and take a new generation of moviegoers back into the Labyrinth." So naturally, I had my hopes pretty high, but just when it was looking like things were making progress, Alvarez declared that he had stepped down as a director. Frankly speaking, I was upset, and as a passionate fan of Jim Henson's original, I felt quite frustrated. Anyway, it was next in May 2020 that Scott Derekson was named as the following director, and soon Maggie Levin was attached to write the screenplay for Labyrinth 2. By then, Lisa had been confirmed as the producer, and Brian Henson was set to serve as the executive producer. Also, with Jennifer Connelly disclosing that she was approached for conversations regarding a Labyrinth sequel, and her particularly stating in a 2021 interview with Collider, "It was pretty special, I have to say, working on that movie. Most fans were sure things were heading in the right direction. But who knew that our hopes were about to be crushed again?" In October 2023, Derekson said he was not sure anymore if the sequel would be created, and felt that it would be extremely challenging to make Labyrinth 2 profitable, given its highly inventive and surreal nature. However, despite this setback, Brian confirmed the following year in February that the sequel was still in development, and there was a possibility that it might be different from what Derekson had envisioned. Finally, with Lisa revealing that the team doesn't have the right script, and also citing that as the primary reason for the delay, any fan could have guessed that Derekson and Levin were already out of the project by then. Of course, the plan was to start again, and by December 2024, Robert Eggers was the new director, all set to co-write the sequel along with Sion. Well, now that I've cleared this heavy information, oh boy, do I feel lighter. With Eggers attached to the project, Labyrinth 2 is certainly back on track. Even though a majority of fans are also hoping for a script at the earliest, it'll still be a while until the film is made. And I'm not saying this because I'm unsure of Eggers' credibility, I'm saying this because he's busy with his upcoming period gothic horror film, Werewolf, which is currently in post-production and all set for a December release this year. This clearly means that production for Labyrinth 2 is quite unlikely to begin until late 2026 or 2027. While plot details continue to remain under wraps, it's a good thing that Labyrinth 2 is being helmed by the critically acclaimed Eggers. The filmmaker, who's highly recognized for his work on films like The Northman and Nosferatu, is particularly known for his intense, folklore-driven and practical effects-heavy filmmaking style. Therefore, it wouldn't be entirely wrong to expect a potentially darker and more textured approach to the Goblin world. Currently in development at TriStar Pictures, the upcoming film also has Chris Columbus and his daughter Eleanor serving as producers along with Lisa Henson. Brian Henson, as mentioned before, is executive producing. As of 2026, an official cast for Labyrinth 2 has not been formally announced, but there have been some very intriguing fan speculation and rumors regarding potential cast members, including Alexander Skarsgård, Tom Hiddleston, Jamie Campbell Bower, and Tilda Swinton, who could all play Jareth the Goblin King. Mind you, these names have appeared primarily in fan discussions and none of them has been confirmed for the role yet. While balancing legacy and modern audience expectations together is going to be quite the task, I firmly believe that Robert Eggers is the ideal filmmaker to resurrect Jim Henson's classic vision. I think he has the perfect brilliant mind and he'll be able to figure out a way to deal with the absence of the legendary David Bowie in one way or another. But most importantly, it'll be comforting to know that Eggers' work on Labyrinth 2 will be seen as a labor of love and certainly not some Hollywood cash grab. Guess we'll all have to wait for a while till I'm able to lay my hands on some more concrete information. I hate to admit it, but this is all I have for today as we've reached the end of the video. I'd love to know your thoughts about Labyrinth 2. Also, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about Eggers and Stione collaborating once again? Tell me everything in the comment section. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Please do leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more such videos. As for me, I promise to come back with another favorite video soon. Thanks for watching and have a nice one.